Okay, you guys, what is up? The King of Lightning is here today to do Bleach Chapter 542 review. Now, before I get to this chapter of Bleach, all right, let me go backpedal real quick to last week's chapter of Bleach. Listen, it's very simple, right? It's very simple, okay? When it came to the three things about last week's chapter of Bleach that I was not pleased about, those three things still fucking stand. Number one, we still don't know how Quincy Zangetsu did what he did. Number two, okay, the fact of the matter remains is that almost every time Ichigo has gained some kind of power, he's had to go through some kind of fucking struggle. This was like that. And you can't assume, okay, well, there's a time. No, see, that's an assumption, okay? There was a time with the whole entire visor thing, and he still fought against his inner hollow / Aronker. So that fight still went down. And in this case, he just handed that shit over to him, literally. So, again, in my personal opinion, there shouldn't be more of a tussle. Because, again, the Quincy powers, I remember how when it came to Ishin, and he had to go and save Masaki against the inner hollow that was invaded. Well, I mean, again, that's the way it is. There's always a tussle. And in this case, there was no tussle. And there should have been a tussle. That's number two. And number three is the last thing, which was, okay, basically, when Oetsu said that the dude inside you is Zangetsu, and he's talking about himself, you can assume he means Yuha Bak would have been the one to kill him later on, had he had progressed in the same manner. However, during that same speech, when Quincy Zangetsu was talking to Ichigo, he specifically stated that I am Yuha Bak, yet I am not Yuha Bak. So when he says himself, you can assume he means Yuha Bak, the real one, but at the same time, you can't assume that. Because he says, I'm not him. I am him, but I'm not him. And technically, all he is the manifestation of Ichigo's Quincy powers. That's all he is. That's all he is. So you can't tell me, well, he actually means the real Yuha Bak. That's an assumption based on his appearance, and that's pretty much it. But when he tells you, I'm not Yuha Bak, well, we don't know what he means. All we do know for sure, essence-wise, is that he is the embodiment, or no, the manifestation, the embodiment of his Quincy powers. And that's what it is. So, assumptions aside, we didn't know what he meant. That's why at the end of last week's video I said he could have meant Yuha Bak, but we don't know. We just don't fucking know. Could there have been some connection between him and Yuha Bak? The last week's chapter, it was a possibility. This week, no. So that being said, now that I've done last week's chapter of Bleach for like 3-4 minutes, let's go to this week's chapter of Bleach, which is very quick. It's a very, 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 very quick chapter. Like, really quick. Basically, it's like, and here's what it is, in a nutshell. Ichigo reminisces and contemplates about all the times he's talked to Quincy Zangetsu and Aronker Zangetsu. And basically, he comes to the conclusion that they're both Zangetsu. And then, as Oetsu is forging a sword, Ichigo runs in there, and he literally puts his hand in like the cauldron of fire, and then he is told by Oetsu, pump your spirit into it, and then remove your new Zanpakuto, which he does. And as he does, like the force of the reaction and the heat evaporates most of the water in the surrounding area. And then we see his new Zangetsus, quote unquote, those Zangetsu. And the design, which I'll get into later, is so, I mean, that can be a lot of things, but I want to say for now is, and basically the chapter ends off with Ichigo talking to himself, again, internal monologue, about how he will no longer ask for help. He will no longer cast them aside, because he is Zangetsu, alright? The blade is me. And then the chapter ends off with fucking my boy, Emperor Yuha back. Emperor Yuha back. Meeting with the Quincy army in front of him. And he has some news to inform his subordinates. So, and that's the chapter. So basically, let's go stage by stage, right? Number one. Ichigo contemplating about all the times. I mean, it was okay. You know, it was not really that. It wasn't really that extravagant at all. But that was okay. It was just him remembering all the times that Ichigo had to talk with Zangetsu in the inner hollow, in the inner rancor, and realizing that there were quote unquote no lies. They always told the truth. It's just that what he considered to be truth may have been different at that point in time. That's number one. Number two is, okay, so I mean, basically he goes to the cauldron of fire, and then it's like basically like a heat Reiatsu wave, and then he pulls out the two Zangetsus. Now, I mean, it was hard to follow, truth be told, because it was like he goes in there, and then it's like, oh, what's still doing the hammering, and each goes like in the middle of that fire. Or it's like, yeah, man, you know, pull them out, and he pulls them out, and it's like a white wave. And the water around the cliff area, like, evaporates. Now, I mean, he called it a sea. I want to go that far because, remember, they're on floating cities. And to my recollection, seas are bigger than cities. I mean, that's the way I thought things were. But maybe it's different in the sky realm of society. I don't fucking know. But all I can say is that he ain't no Hideyoshi Toyotomi. That being said, he pulls out his two Zangetsus, right? When it comes to appearance, I was very surprised. I was super surprised. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I had to do like a double take. I was like, huh? Like, what? Like, I was doing like a quadruple take. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is this? And I am analyzing the hell out of this picture for no reason, man. Well, you know, no, for a legit reason, because it's his new Zanpakuto toes. And so right now he's on the same status as, well, not same status, quote unquote, but he has, because remember, back in the day, according to Yamato Genryusai, the only two people to ever have two Zanpakuto toes, dual wield, Nitoryu, were what the fuck are their names? Damn, these guys are so irrelevant now. Shoraku and Ukitake. Those two. And now we throw in Ichigo. Now, hopefully this means what? New moves. Come on, man. Please. New moves. I'm begging you. You have two swords. There's no excuse, man. There's no excuse now. I don't want to see the same Getsu. No. Stop it. One of the swords looks very similar to Ichigo's old, like his old Shikai. And remember, this is Shikai. We haven't seen Bankai yet. Bankai, I'm assuming, is going to be a fusion. I'm gonna assume it's going to be a fusion of the two swords, because one has like a slit inside the sword. So, I mean, maybe his Bankai is like him putting the one sword inside the slit. Like, not a perfect fit, but that's the activation sequence. Because, like, for example, right? I'm gonna notify Grimjaw on this, right? When it comes to some of the Rancor during the Rancor Saga arc, they had a sequence of things. They did like a sequence, but before they went Bankai, before they went into their resurrection forms. Excuse me, not Bankai. Yeah, resurrection form. For example, Grimjaw. When he went into his resurrection form, he had to scratch his sword. And then he went to this panther form. When it came to that one black dude, what's his name? Shit. The black guy. Forgot his name completely. He basically had to like do like this thing, and like, he had to tilt his head, the sword was bending around, curve. And then he went to his resurrection form. When it came to, I believe his name, yeah, I believe Sazapalo Grants had to like swallow his sword. I think so, I'm not too sure. I forget. I'm not too sure. When it came to Haribo, there had to be like some like aqua form. Like she had to tilt her sword this way, make like an aqua wave, and yada, so on and so forth. So I'm thinking that the two swords have to be like at least touching each other to like make like a sequence, and then the Bankai can be activated. I mean, that's what I'm assuming. because you have to remember that his inner one of his inner Zangetsus is an Arankar by definition, because it's a combination of the Shinigami and the Hollow side of his powers. I mean, like, they're both Shikai's Bankai fusion, because it's like a sequence. That's what I'm thinking, but I could be dead wrong. And I mean, to my recollection, maybe not all of the Arankar needed sequences to use their resurrection forms, but granted, I think it'd be cool, right? It'll be cool to see. Fair enough. Now, and the last scene. So basically, when it comes to the actual picture itself, right? So let me go more in detail, right? One of the swords, I think, is, I forgot the name of this sword, but it's like one of those big ass knives. Like it begins with a B. The name escapes me. The name, the name escapes me, but it's like a, what the fuck is it called? It's one of those big ass like hunting knives, and that's his Quincy Zangetsu. The other one is, again, it looks like the previous Zangetsu, but now he's not holding it from the actual hilt, if there even is a hilt. Like, he's holding it from like the edge. He's holding it from like right above this like weird hilt, and then there's a slit above that. So it's unique, and these swords are jet black, like jet black. So like, I see no silver edge at all. It's just jet black. So what I can say from appearance alone is that it's cool, and it did throw me off. Like, I had to do like 3 takes, like, no lie. But the thing about it is that when I'm looking at his Quincy hunting knife, I'm like, bro, no bow and arrow? Like, what the fuck you want? Like, where's the Legolas? Like where? I'm not seeing it, bro. So that I'm really disappointed, because come on, Quincy's by definition are, well, I mean, back in the day they used to be very well known for their bow and arrow abilities. I mean, especially Uryu and Ryuken. So I was thinking, okay, so he may have the same thing as Ishida. I mean, he may have the same thing as Uryu or Ryuken. Like, Ryuken, he has a bow, but he has to like hold like this. It's like a really short bow, and it fires arrows like this. Like, there is no drawback. He just goes like this, and then he fires arrows. So I was thinking that maybe it'll be something along those lines for his Quincy powers, but apparently it's a sword. So I'm thinking, wait, why? Like, why is it a sword? What the fuck? So I don't know, man. Like, I just really wanted to see an arrow. I really wanted to see a bow. Like, that's what I was hoping for. Because then, if that was the case, then there wouldn't be any Getsuga Tensho. For sure. Because it's a fucking bow. How do you do a Getsuga Tensho with a fucking bow? The fuck? So, that's what I was hoping for. Because then that would guarantee a wider variety of moves for Ichigo to use. But, unfortunately, not the case. And apparently he's missing these full-bring armbands that he had, which I believe were burned off because of the heat that Otsu was using when he was building the sword. That's what I'm thinking. But maybe since he has mastered, maybe since he has, now fully grasped his powers, oh shit, then maybe he doesn't need full-bring anymore. Or maybe it's like completely nerfed now. I mean, his neck thing is still there, and his ankle thing is still there, but his arm ones are gone. But I'm going through some because of the heat of Otsu's forging. That's what I'm assuming. And at the end of the chapter, well, then from then on, like, we see like the swords turn into Zangetsu, and they turn to the Zangetsus, and basically it's him come to the realization that he is the blade. He is Zangetsu. Like, we are, like, me and him are one. And but the way it came off like very pre-Timeskip Kenpachi-ish, you feel me? Like, I don't need any sword's help. Like, it's just me, motherfucker. It's just me, motherfucker. My own power. But that's the way it first came off. But then at the end, he actually clarified it, and he said, yeah, for you are me. So that thing I thought was, pretty cool. However, it does change the fact, at least this should be a fact, where in order for him to learn new skills and techniques, he has to use the Jinsen. The Jinsen, I believe so. He has to use that. He has to talk to his inner realms so he can discuss new skills. So, I mean, that's what should occur. And also, I'm thinking, we remember how he had his older Zangetsu models in their quote-unquote sheath. And basically, it's like tape wrapping. And he puts it on his back. So, what is he going to do now? I mean, we saw him disappear. So, are these swords going to be, like, instantaneous, where, like, he calls upon them, like they just come? Like, you know, like come forth, Zangetsu! Like, they just warp in his hands and shit? Like, is that how it's going to work now? Like, I have no idea. But we'll see where it goes. So, the last thing, obviously, Bach, awesome. He has big news to reveal. We don't know what it is exactly, but I'm going to assume it involves Uri. That's maybe not. Or it could be, okay, we have spies, and they've informed us that Ichigo has a new fucking Zanbakuto, and Komamu's doing some dog shit, literally. Soifon's doing some mountain shit, and Hisagi's gonna probably learn Bankai, and even though he sucks, Hitsugaya is going back to the basics. Not really a big threat. So, you know, not really a big threat. So fuck it. But that's it. So the chapter overall, I thought it was like above okay. Like, you know, like it was okay overall because it was so fast paced. Like it was like snap to it. However, it's above it in my opinion because the reveal is monumental. Like it is a big reveal. Like, oh, like here's a new Zanbakuto. And even though he got one last arc, a new Zanbakuto, now he has a new one, a new version of Zangetsu. I mean, first it was single sword, then it was like single hook sword. Now it's like dual wield, hunting knife, big hooks. But you know, like you guys get. So yeah, I'll give it okay plus. Yeah, I'll give it. It's an okay plus chapter of Bleach this week. But I'm done. So King of Lightning, be sure of course rate, comment, and subscribe as always. Peace. Have a nice day.